Thank you so much for being here. Tell me, so what does your law firm do, and what do you do day to day, within the telemedicine industry?
Sure. My law firm has 1,000 lawyers across the country, 100 of which are dedicated healthcare, and about a dozen are within our telemedicine industry team. So every day we work with hospitals, academic medical centers, provider groups, entrepreneurs, and startups to help advise them on the telemedicine rules and strategy, contracting, and how to make their business models not just meaningful, but sustainable, smart, and to comply with the myriad rules and regulations within one state, across 50 states, and international arrangements, U.S. and abroad.
So that sounds like you must have had somewhat of an impact on this industry, whether it be a case or a ruling, or what kind of a footprint have you made, and what are some of the most important, imprints that you've put?
Sure. As a healthcare business lawyer, I don't do litigation because I find it more rewarding to help people build things rather than fight over someone else's money.
That is rewarding.
Yeah, and it's really special. So we work with some of the household names across the country that you would think is our nation's flagship providers, but then the myriad startups. So an example would be, I walked around the exhibit hall this year, and I saw a bunch of booths from companies that 2 years ago reached out to me, and they were just an idea, didn't even have a website. And now I get to see their growth, and while I didn't plant the seed, I felt like we were able to water it a little bit, and it's really rewarding to see the growth of those kind of companies.
Wow. And is there one that you're particularly proud of?
It's like saying who's your favorite kid. If I picked one, then everyone else might say, I feel a little jealous.
Well, what about seeing something come to life? Watching something become an idea to a device. Are there any examples of that?
Sure. One thing that I'm really proud of is, for example, we would take a look at not just, so many people think of lawyers as tell me what the rule is, say yes or no, and draft a contract. But we get involved on a much more meaningful basis to say, why are you doing it this way? Have you thought about changing or pivoting a little bit? And our clients are particularly receptive. Now, I get that's often the purview of a consultant.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, and the biggest compliment I get from clients is, you're not a lawyer, or you're not like a lawyer, is what they're really saying. And they mean it in a complimentary way because instead of rather doing a memo as a self-indulgent, right, it's a means to an end to help the provider build something great. And I take great pride and value in that.
I would imagine that you would. Where do you think this industry is moving? What's the future look like in your mind?
I think we'll see it in two places, perhaps. One is the value proposition plays that you see from large companies like the MD Lives or the Teledocs of the world, where they can contract with health plans to be a cost savings and care diversion tool for low acuity. And then the other you'll see are the Mercy Virtuals of the world, which take on the challenge of the most complex patients, the hardest work with multifaceted acute and post-acute care needs, and saying, you know what, we will take on this because those patients have the greatest opportunity to improve their quality care and have cost savings. I think we'll see a lot in that space. The other area will probably be retail medicine, which is a kind of a direct-to-consumer concept, and that would mean divorcing the physician or hospital as a gatekeeper for healthcare. An individual can just reach out through their phone to contact with a doctor or a therapist or some healthcare provider and access that care immediately. And then we'll have that coupled with machine learning and AI to drive more efficiencies and accuracy in the clinical determination and decision-making process. Bigger, faster, stronger.
To sum it up, that's great. And what about this conference? How many years have you been coming here?
I've been a fan and supporter of ATA for a while. I am on the executive committee of the Business and Finance Group and on the Education Committee, and I actually am a donor as well because I put my money where my mouth is. And I am so proud of the changes that ATA has made even from last year to this year.
Like what?
Well, we revamped our entire educational curriculum. We created an education committee. Each member probably spent 40+ hours of their own pro bono time to curate, peer review, and ensure that we have the tracks of educational programming that is verifiable, high level of excellence, and oriented to what the attendees want. I think ATA is listening to their members and trying to respond to give them what they need and provide a forum for advocacy and direct action.
And what would you say to someone who is thinking of coming to this conference? Why? What's the draw for you to come every year?
There are a lot of great telehealth conferences. In particular, I think the telehealth resource centers around the country have phenomenal regional conferences. But the American Telemedicine Association's annual meeting is, in my opinion, the only place where you can get the best exposure and interaction with CEOs, leaders, and clinicians of the nation's leading telemedicine companies and academic medical centers that use telemedicine in a variety of ways.
Wow, that's fantastic. What are you looking forward to this year? Is it a keynote speaker? Is it a particular presentation?
Well, I think Patrick Kennedy did a great job this morning. He conveyed a passion for mental health parity. But I'm also looking forward to some of the social events and parties this evening. There's like 3 or 4 of them, and they should be really fun.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic. All right, well, thank you so much for stopping by to talk.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.